Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jack. Back to bring you the 7.2.5 disc guide, everything you need to know about playing disc in 7.2.5, where the spec stands, and all the information you need in quick, easy to check out format. If you want to see the full written guide, everything like that, it's going to be linked in the description below. Alright, getting into it, disc maintains that very powerful bursty effect as a healer. A lot of the recent changes have given 2 charges to power Radiance. It has given a flat mana cost to plea, and it has reshaped all of the talents trees as we know it. Alright, but the net effect of this is that disc continues to be a very powerful burst healer, but it also kind of changes the way that it is applying all the atonements to begin with, and it also brings up the usefulness of some atonement applicators over others. All right, so of course your primary atonement applicator is going to be through powered shield or through powered radiance, which of course, like I said, is having those charges. But while it does have those charges, it is now a smart heal, so it has a 2 priority system where it's prioritizing people without atonement on them, and then of the people without atonement on them, it is prioritizing the people who are most injured. All right, so this is going to be very, very nice for a number of different fights where there are debuffs that are going on, people that are all kind of spread out all over the room. So it'd be very, very nice there, and it'll really bring up the efficiency of just all of your healing. Getting into talents, the talents you see on the screen right now for you are the default build that you'll be using for raids. Twist of Fate is competing with Castigation. Generally, you're going to be taking Twist of Fate, unless, of course, you have one of the new legendaries, which will let you take both the talents, which would be very, very nice. But generally, Twist of Fate is going to give you a better uptime, give you better effect that you'll need in terms of just progression healing in general. So go with Twist of Fate. Feather, of course, for mobility. Shining Force, you know, you can run with any of them in the 45 tier for raids. Not going to make that big of a difference. 60 tier for the mana regen. Shield Discipline, of course, is going to remain the highest mana regen talent in the tree. But in terms of best HPS, you're going to run with Mindbender. Mindbender is just going to get better and better and better as we're going on throughout the expansion. So if you're fine on mana, you feel comfortable with mana, you have, you know, wisdoms or innervates or anything like that, definitely run with Mindbender instead. It'll just be so much stronger for your HPS. For the 75 tier, your new talent is Sanctuary. Sanctuary, of course, increases the absorb effect of your smites by 50%. It's not a gigantic healing increase, and the 75 tier in general for raids isn't that sexy or anything like that, but it is the better option of the 3 talents. Clarity Will, Shadow Covenant, they're pretty good in Mythic Plus. We'll talk about that in just a second, but Sanctuary is the way to go for raids. Purge the Wicked, of course, is going to be just the default must-take. Divine Star and Halo, even though they both got mana cost reductions, they're really not good enough to beat out Purge. Like, Purge is just so strong. So 100 tier, of course, Powered Infusion got shuffled around, and it's now in the 100 tier. But you will be taking Evangelism, which is the newest talent, which increases the duration of your atonements by, it's now going to be 6 seconds. It's just slated for a hotfix. It might be 7 seconds for a couple more days at the time of this video, but it's going to be hotfixed to be 6 seconds. It's still going to be very powerful. You're going to be basically merging Evangelism with Light's Wrath. You're going to be using them almost always in conjunction with each other or soon after each other. So these are going to be very, very powerful cooldown, and it'll really increase the burst effect that you're going to be able to put out, because you will maintain such a large amount of atonements for such a long time. Going into Mythic Plus, of course, on your screen right now, there's a couple changes around with the talents, but nothing too crazy. Twist of Fate, Feather, Shining Force, of course, are just going to be staples. From there, you would definitely want to take Mindbender. You know, mana is not that much of a concern in 5-mans because you can just sit and drink in between pulls, provided your tank is not chain pulling. 75 tier Shadow Covenant is extremely good when you're using it in conjunction with Grace. And the fact that you're able to have a mobile AoE heal that you effectively could just spam if you wanted to, it really, really makes it very powerful. It's very good out of combat. For example, if you have like Bursting or Grievous or something like that, and you need to top somebody off like right now, then you are not really going to feel the negative effects, the negative impacts of the ability. Because the debuff will just kind of fall off before you get into the next trash pack or something like that. So if you're more interested in like the single target protection of like Clarity of Will, then you can definitely run that in conjunction with Grace as well. Purge again, great damage, great healing, must take. And then for the 100 tier, like I said, Grace. For higher and higher keys, or just in general, you're going to be wanting to run Grace. Power Infusion, if you're able to do, you know, if you're able to stomp through some content or something like that, and you want to have the damage increase of Power Infusion, then definitely go with that. In terms of stats haven't changed overly much for the spec, and the big gist of it is that haste is still going to be very valuable. It's still going to be very worthwhile. It'd be worth pursuing, but it's not going to be to the point where you just want to get haste and nothing else. You know, it will be important to get a better diversity of stats, and mastery, crit, and even verse for that matter. From a lot of the people I've been talking to, have just gotten really, really close together. So Many of the people, Sublif I know I was talking to the other day, he mentioned how it's going to be kind of similar to Holy Priest, where you're going to want to get a good amount of haste. You're going to want to get a healthy amount of haste, and then you're just going to want to get Mastery Crit, Mastery Crit. So, speaking of other great people to talk to for theory crafting in terms of the stats, if you guys want to check out some of my buddies at Focused Will, they run a Discord and they run a website as well. It does a really good job providing a lot of information, a lot of great information for the Disc Priest. Their link is going to be below. I've showed this on my previous video, of course, but if you wanted to check out the artifact path, where Disc is going to be taking their artifact path and where they're going to be putting in all their points and stuff like that once they fill out the first 35. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy to get all of your traits filled out now, because it will be very, very easy to get up to Artifact Knowledge 40 very, very rapidly. A lot of the hotfixes, a lot of the changes and stuff like that have made it immensely, immensely easy to get all of the artifact power that you really need, all the artifact knowledge you need. So it shouldn't take you too long, and of course, that'll be just the preferred path you want to go for.